Meeting of the Board of Public Works for this evening, Monday, December 12th, 2016.
Commissioner Rivas, Commissioner Davis, President James, Vice President Repenning, and Commissioner Jacinto. President James, we have a quorum. May we start with introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Lighting, please.
Megan Hackney, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Lisa Mowry, LA Sanitation.
Good evening, John Reamer, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good evening, Gary Lee Moore, Bureau of Engineering.
Good evening, Keith Mosaic, Bureau of Street Services.
Good evening, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Good evening, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we did not receive any speaker cards under general public comment. We did receive speaker cards under items number 2, 3, 4, and 5 for today's agenda.
Okay, so first of all, I would like, I think we're going to have some additional speaker cards that will come in. So I would like to welcome everyone here, and just to get a sense of the representatives that are here from the city, if we could have just kind of start back around with titles. Gary Lee Moore, our city engineer, and we'll go work back around that way.
Hi. Is our mic working this time? Oh, great. Gary Lee Moore, city engineer. Been with the city of Los Angeles now over 31 years, and it's a real pleasure to serve all of you.
Good evening, John Reamer, your Inspector of Public Works with the Bureau of Contract Administration. I've been with the city for 31 years, and it's an honor to be here this evening.
Lisa Mowry, Sanitation. I'm the Chief Financial Officer, so I'm the one who takes care of the money that you pay us for your trash and sewer service. Thank you.
Megan Hackney, Bureau of Street Lighting. I'm the Assistant Director, and I've been with the city for about 17 years.
Keith Mosaic. I've been with the Bureau for 27 years. I'm the Assistant Director. I oversee pavement preservation, emergency operations, and various other things.
I'm Ted Jordan. I'm an Assistant City Attorney. I've been with the City Attorney's Office for 13 years. I am the General Counsel for the Department of Public Works.
And Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. I've been with the city for about 15 years. I'm the one that puts these meetings together, and I'm very pleased and happy to see many folks out here attending the community meeting. So thank you, and thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you, everyone. So we'll start with Jacob Haig from Council District 15, sir. Thank you.
Well, welcome to Watts. I know you guys are no stranger to this community, and I think I personally spent some time with each one of you guys out here at one point or another, or lunch or meetings. But again, welcome to our district. The council is pleased that you guys are having these meetings out in a variety of locations of the city. It brings City Hall to the people. We worked long and hard, especially in Watts, to bring back our Watts Civic Center. We have different departments housed there. We plan to expand it even more. So be prepared to hear from the councilman about having bureaus come and visit or have an office in the Watts Civic Center. So just you're forewarned. It was great hearing the number of years that you guys have serviced. First of all, I had no idea, Gary, that 31 years, man. I don't know what your secret is, but you get to share with the rest of us. But yeah, I've been with the city. I think I started in 2003 with Janice Hahn, and I remember working with all of you guys at we were a little bit lower levels, but just I see the commitment that you all have for the city and the love that you guys have for the city. For the people here in attendance, I know you're all receiving rewards, but it really takes a special kind of person to work in management in each of these bureaus and departments, and even the commission. There's some that come and do their job, and they do a good job, and then they go home, and there's some that have that extra love and passion for this great city and for the residents, and they go above and beyond. And you'll see them at night, you'll see them on weekends. I get emails from some of them like at 1 a.m. But we have an amazing bureau. We have amazing commissioners that work very hard. So just some of the stuff that we're doing here in Watts. Thank you guys. We've built a lot of medians, and we're continuing to build more medians. We're getting right now public input for Central, just right out here. The councilman feels greatly that Watts has a lot of needs, but we need to show the commitment from the city. We need to show from the city that we are investing in this community. We work with our nonprofits with sanitation on cleaning our streets. We max deploy all of our sanitation trucks and clean sweep, but then we have Gang Alternatives Program, Beacon House, Sheriff Fest that come in and they supplement the great work that sanitation is doing, but just to show that extra care and touch we have. And it was Beacon House and Gap who were out just cleaning not too long ago, but they're starting to see that the community is buying in, where they didn't care. I shouldn't say they didn't care, but maybe they've lost some faith and hope, but they see us coming through with our sanitation crews. Then we're coming in with these guys in yellow shirts or Gap shirts that are sweeping and weeding and picking up trash. And now we run into business owners who are starting to clean and sweep. As a matter of fact, Beacon House guys, these bunch of gangsters came out, and Beacon House was like, uh-oh. They started helping to pick up some bulky items, some trash, and they thanked our Beacon House guys for coming out to clean. So it's really one step at a time, little by little, transforming this community. And every bureau has played a key role in this. So I don't want to delay everybody. I know we're here to honor some of our residents, but just wanted to thank you guys for your hard work, your commitment. I know it's not easy dealing with council offices. You know, we get the 15 bosses in the mayor's office, and but you guys do it with humility and most of the time with a smile. Mike Davis tells me what he really thinks on the side, but but I really appreciate it. And also just an amazing year. I mean, sidewalks, I mean, the franchise fees for the sanitation and it was not an easy year by any means, but my boss would not say happy holidays. He would actually say Merry Christmas and happy holidays. And again, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate it. So let's get started with, first of all, we have a presentation from the Office of Community Beautification, Certificate of Recognition for the Gang Alternatives program. And I understand that Anna Weezar has the certificate for the Gang Alternatives program.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, board. Thank you for allowing me to be here. My name is Anna Weezar, and I am with the Office of Community Beautification. And I just want to take this time to honor GAP. So if they would like to come up here right now, the Gang Alternatives Program, they are actually one of our nonprofit organizations that removes graffiti for the city. So we would like to take this time to thank you so much for all of your hard work. These gentlemen and their crews, they begin working at 6:30 a.m. every single day to remove graffiti around the city. And they also start earlier in the summertime as well. And they work 7 days a week. So thank you so much for all of your hard work. And on behalf of the Board of Public Works, we would like to honor you with the certificate of recognition. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Victor Medina. I'm with GAP, the Against Alternatives Program. On behalf of my Executive Director, Juan Torres, and also our staff, our CCU staff, we want to thank Public Works, also Council Office, for this certificate. Our staff and myself are dedicated 24/7, every single day of the year, out there to improve quality of life for every single resident and also our stakeholders out there. So, again, just thank you so much for this certificate and this acknowledgement.
Thank you, sir. We also have a series of oral reports this evening. And so, Anna, while you were started, we'll start with you in just a moment. We have a speaker card on number 1. Then we'll go to Anna Weezar from the Office of Community Beautification and start there. A speaker card on agenda item number 1. Mr. Spindler, you have a card in. Wayne from Encino on number 1.
And she forgot to mention she's no relation to Jose Weezar. So that's always a good thing to mention. So, what's the problem with the meeting? It's dark out there, all the lights are turned off, you couldn't find this place with the GPS. So, when you talk about outreach, nobody knows how to get here because on your notice you didn't put down where it was. You can drive all over this place for 15, 20, 30 minutes. So, what's the problem? You got a $4 billion budget. You can't put a truck out there with a light and say, enter here, meeting, community meeting. So right away, what this tells me is 2 things. First, you don't want the community here. You just want the people you want here to make it look like a good show. And the second thing is, nothing changes in this city. It's always the same with you guys. You're going to hand out awards. You're going to tell people everything's getting better. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. But we're spending a lot more money, and it's still getting worse. Nothing in business works that way. Anybody in business that would do what you guys do, they'd be bankrupt, they'd be fired, they'd be in jail. Only the city government gets away with this. You tax these people religiously, viciously. And what are you going to do? You're going to do one thing. You're going to put another train through here, and it's going to drive where? Short of the LAX. Still not going to get the LAX. What you need is jobs. And you need to find a way to get jobs. So all of this rhetoric, your TV, anti-Trump, anti-this, anti-nothing, when they bring these factories back, put them here and get people working again. Because people aren't working. This place is not working. And turn the lights on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spindler. On number 1, Ms. Weezar.
Good evening again. Like I said, my name is Anna, and I work for the Office of Community Beautification. Today, we're just going to provide you guys with a brief overview of some of our services that our organization offers, that our office offers. This is not working. Okay, got it. Sorry about that. So first of all, our office offers graffiti abatement removal for all constituents in the city. So here are some of the sites that our contractors remove. We actually work with 13 different community-based organizations, and GAP is one of them. They do excellent job, all of them do. So here are some before and after shots of the graffiti removal. They use water blasting, sand blasting. It depends on the sources that they use, but they do an excellent job. And that is free for everyone. And you guys can go ahead and report graffiti through our 311 system. They also work closely as part of the Clean Streets program. So here are also some of the before and after shots. So these are weed abatement, and we also do a lot of different services with Clean Streets program, and we work very closely with sanitation. Here are some more before and after shots, which include some tree trimming and bulky item pickup as well. We also work very closely with different volunteers from different organizations. Our office provides community tools, cleanup tools, free of charge. We have enough tools to help 5,000 volunteers, and everything is free of charge. We deliver them, pick them up as well. So those are some of our services. If you would like to know more, we do have our website here. I do have my cards and brochures, but if you guys have any questions, we are here after the meeting as well.
Any questions from Ms. Weezar? We'll take a couple of questions now if anybody has one. Otherwise, she'll be here. Thank you, ma'am.
You're very welcome.
Agenda item number 2, and what we'll do on agenda items 2 through 6, you'll see that on the way out, if you haven't gotten one of our handy cheat sheets, there is kind of a summary of the Board of Public Works that has a description of the Department of Public Works services, along with the website and telephone numbers, as well as 311 regarding our services, and a description of each of the members of the Board of Public Works. There are 5 bureaus within the Department of Public Works, and each one of us serves as a liaison for each one of the bureaus. And so we will have the liaison board representative call the item, introduce the item from their specific bureau, and then if there are any questions from the community that you have regarding the item that we've put before you, just raise your hand and we'll walk through the questions with you. So we're going to start with agenda item number 2, which is an overview of street services, including improvements, repairs, sweeping, tree trimming from the Bureau of Street Services. The Bureau of Street Services is the bureau that I serve as the liaison for. And Keith, before we start, we have a couple of speaker cards on agenda item number 2 before we get to you. So we have Janet Mitchell, Harbor Gateway North Neighborhood Council, on agenda item number 2 from the Bureau of Street Services.
Good evening to all. As you say, I'm Janet Mitchell. I represent Harbor Gateway North Neighborhood Council. I'm District 7 representative. Our concern in District 7 in regards to street sweepers, we live along Imperial Highway. We have no street sweeper, and it's a main boulevard. It collects a lot of trash. Our local church is there, and the pastor is often, he calls and he requests that, you know, the street be clean, but I continue to put in requests and to no resolve. So I'm just wondering where we at. We went out, we collected, we did a petition and submitted it in order to request for a sweeper along Imperial Highway. So I'm just here this evening wanting to know, can we look forward to something taking place and some type of action regarding this?
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. We'll have Mr. Mose address that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Spindler, you have a card on number 2.
So I'll say it again. 8th Street and South Coronado. You have the largest sustained homeless encampment and public danger in the entire city on the back side of the block where our building has been for 41 years. And you haven't done shit. They are still there. You brought trucks out. You claim you moved them out of there. But what you did is you just took the trucks, moved it down the block, dumped the crap off, and guess what they did? They're homeless. They got all day and night. They put it all back. They're back again, selling drugs. The children at Hoover Elementary School, Hoover Elementary, our proud school, just won a major award. You cannot safely walk down that street. These kids can't even walk safely down that street to the school. And this has been going on for 2 years. 61 times I've contacted the city, and not a goddamn thing has happened with these people. Why? Why? Why are we being victimized? It's Koreatown, right? Asians, they got money. No, it's mostly a lower to middle class at best Latino community with a lot of affordable rent-controlled housing. It's a goddamn awesome area, and you're destroying it. You're pushing these people from your developments downtown into our neighborhoods and killing our streets. You claim your street services. Today they were back there again, blocking the sidewalk in violation of federal and state law. I want it cleaned up. You don't clean it up, then I'm going to sue for $10,000 damages every day starting tomorrow. I want it done. It's an outrage.
Thank you, Mr. Spindler. Mr. Mose, on agenda item number 2, street services.
Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Keith Mose, Bureau of Street Services Assistant Director. I oversee the Pavement Preservation Program, but I'm today here to talk about the overview of the 4 core services that the Bureau of Street Services offers. I have a PowerPoint. We maintain the urban forestry, which has over 700,000 trees within the public right-of-way that the Bureau of Street Services maintains. We also do enforcement with our Street Service Investigation Division, which enforces issues within the public right-of-way. We also have street sweeping, where we go and sweep posted and non-posted routes throughout the city of Los Angeles of the 28,000 lane miles. And we also have a pavement preservation program, where we do 2,400 lane miles of pavement preservation throughout the entire city. And within Council District 15, since 2013, we have done over 600 lane miles of pavement preservation, which is 172 miles of hot mix asphalt, where we actually go out and pave the street. And we also do a slurry seal application onto the roadway, where we put a thin application of an emulsified asphalt, which preserves the roadway, which makes it last for up to a 25-year period. We also do have a neighborhood council initiative, where we go out twice a year to each neighborhood council to provide services, where a pothole truck actually comes out and services the community and does different small asphalt repairs. And you will get a 30-day notice typically. For the Watts area, we are scheduled to come out in April to perform that service. Also with the street maintenance division, they perform small asphalt repairs where they actually go out and do the asphalt repairs. And within Council District 15, since 2013, we've done over 280,000 square feet of small asphalt repairs, which equates to about 70,000 small asphalt repairs or pothole repairs within this council district. And also, if you report these to our 311 app, basically there is a two-day turnaround where we will be out within 48 hours to make that repair if you call it in. The Bureau of Street Services also does concrete repairs, concrete infrastructure, grant-funded streetscape projects where we actually do work on the sidewalks. We install over 50 bus pads a year throughout the city of Los Angeles on where there's major bus routes. And we also install access ramps on individual blocks. We also do decorative sidewalk, where we basically go in and put colored panels, different things like that, tree rail repairs, catch basin repairs, and we also, where the cycle tracks are installed, we actually go out and do street sweeping on those with one of our mini sweepers. We recently did a project working with CD15 on Camilla Street and 103rd Street where there was a broken off-grade gutter where we actually went in and did some sidewalk, curb, gutter repairs, cleaned up the parkway median and made it look much nicer. We are also going to put that particular street in a future resurfacing program to be paved to basically finish off this, make this street nice again for this neighborhood. Also, our Investigation and Enforcement Division, they not only do enforcement of the public right-of-way, but they are a present force in our community for special events to ensure the health and safety of the community and the environment. Our Urban Forestry Division, just since 2013, within Council District 15, we've done over 8,500 tree trimming repair or tree trimming to trees within this council district, and we've done 1,900, 2,400, 2,500, 1,600 each year annually, again to equate to about 8,529 tree trimming services for this community or area. We're also doing the Watts Streetscape Enhancement Phase 1, which goes from 103rd Street from Success to Grape Street, which is scheduled to be was completed March 2016. Where we did water conservation and landscaping of the median island. The community was involved in the design of the Gateway Monument, installed 22 trees, did 3,600 square feet of, repaired 3,600 square feet of damaged sidewalk, upgraded 2 access ramps, put in 2 finding way signs, installed furniture of 11 benches, automated litter bins, and bicycle racks. And this is a picture of the landscape median island for the area, the work that the Bureau of Street Services actually performed. Here's another picture of the monuments that were installed with the 10 colorful larger-than-life figurines within the median island. Here's some other projects with the enhancement on 103rd and Compton, where we put in benches and what do you call it? Wayfinding signage. And we also have phase 2 coming up, which is scheduled to be completed by April 2017. We're basically going to do the same thing. We're going to install 12 bus safety lights, upgrade access ramps, do continental crosswalks, upgrade alley intersections, do some sidewalk repairs, curb and gutter repairs, install 12 trees, put in the 12 way finding signs, install bus benches, trash receptacles, and bicycle racks. And these are some other improvements that we're doing as far as part of this, where again we're doing monuments, median islands, upgrading curb ramps, access ramp, bump outs, basically which is traffic calming measures. And for any of our services or questions, you can always go to My311 to report anything as far as related to, say, street cleaning, sidewalks, things of that nature. Also for small asphalt repair, street resurfacing of that nature, you just go to My311. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mose. So for small asphalt repairs, essentially potholes, what's the turnaround time at the Bureau of Street Services right now for pothole repairs that are sent into the city through the 311 system, whether phoned in, online, or through the MyLA 311 app?
It will be inspected typically within the same day and repaired within, if not under, 2 business days.
Okay. Regarding the question that came from Ms. Mitchell from the Harbor Gateway North Neighborhood Council on street sweeping, I think her question related to Imperial Highway. Is Imperial Highway, is that Caltrans or is that under ours?
I'd have to actually investigate which section that she's specifically speaking to. I gave Ms. Mitchell my business card to contact me, and then basically we'll do the investigation, determine if it's a major arterial within the city right-of-way or it could be Caltrans, and we'll make that determination, and then we can come up with a plan of resolution as far as to resolve our issue.
Okay. Anything further regarding the Bureau of Street Services, tree trimming? Yes, ma'am. No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I'm very concerned about the alleyway. It's a major alleyway that stretches from 103rd to 107th, and it's just east of Central Avenue. And the section from 100 to 107th desperately needs resurfacing. It's been a long time. It's been patched, but it desperately needs to be cleaned, and it needs some resurfacing. There are a row of apartments that are still there. They didn't get deep six way back 45 years ago when they were removing them. And for those people that live in that apartment, those apartments, they have no other way to get to their parking except for the alley. And I seem to be the only resident that still uses a garage back there. And it can be real challenging sometimes with the dumping and the debris and illegal storage of cars. And it needs a lot of tender loving.
Did we get the intersections right that she's referencing, the 105th to 107th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. With that, you can again report as far as the illegal dumping, things like that on the My 311 app. Yes. And so with the small asphalt repairs, that can be reported. The unfortunate part is we're not funded to resurface alleys. However, I will give you my card. Again, I will have somebody actually go out and look at the alley. And there's a possibility that we can do what's called a machine-applied skin patch. It's not paving, but it looks and acts like paving, to where we can do that on an interim basis until at some such time the funding becomes available at a future date. I cannot tell you when that would be at this time, but however, I can work with you to come up with something as far as to at least make your entrance to your garage better.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything else? Any other questions on? Yes, sir. Street services.
I've noticed, like, sometimes when the street sweeper come by, she either dumps more than she picks up. Why is that? Also, the speed of the street sweeper that come by. Sometimes it comes by slow, and then sometimes it zooms by.
All right.
And one other thing, one of the guys told me is the curvature of the brushes that will pick up more or pick up less depends on how they have it tilted.
I understand everything you're saying. So, with that being said, typically what happens when a sweeper is going by, yes, they're supposed to go at, like, say, 3 to 5 miles an hour travel speed. If they're going faster than that, typically it's possible that they're going to another route at that point. If they're not, then basically I would recommend that you call us and let us know. We'll be able to take that serious and look at that particular sweeper operator. What happens is when as the sweeper gets full, it will leave some debris behind, and that's when it's time for the sweeper to dump at that time. And you're right, the downward pressure on the brooms do need to be adjusted periodically throughout the day, throughout the week, so that basically it picks up all the material. If on your particular route, again, I'll give you my card. If you're having an issue with a particular sweeper operator, I'll put you in contact with the cleaning supervisor. He can come out, meet you directly, and basically talk about this, because basically our sweepers are our front line for the Bureau of Street Services, because you guys see them weekly, and we want them to come by, wave, smile, and make you happy to make your neighborhood clean.
Also, I depend on the street sweeper to come Wednesday and Thursday in my district.
Mm-hmm.
So if he doesn't show up, what can I do about that?
Well, there may be times where it's like, for whatever reason, the sweepers may not be in on that particular day. Again, I would recommend that you call us. I'll give you the contact to our cleaning coordinator, and basically you can call in and he can work with you on that. But we strive to be 95% or more on all of our posted routes, so that they're out there. We rely on that as far as to keep our neighborhoods clean, and basically, like I say, keep you happy.
Yes, sir.
I spoke to Mr. Nelson.
Yes.
Yeah. So I spoken to the guy who asked him to call. And what's happening is that they're coming down the street more than 5. And he's correct. I'll push stuff off the parkway because I know street sweeping day. And he'll come through there so fast it flies up and it lands back on the car. So it's a matter of speed, and maybe he's got another run he's got to make, but half doing the job doesn't make it right. The other part to that is when we look for street sweepers on Wednesday, we all move our cars. You know how impacted the streets are these days. Nothing happens. So Mr. Nelson gave me a website that I can look at and see when the street sweepers would not come, so I won't be in violation. If they're not coming, I can leave my car there and supposedly not get a ticket. That doesn't work. So if you could just let him, if he's still there, let him know that that website is useless, and I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to get points that we can look at and improve the services. Because if that guy's in a hurry, he's not doing me any good by pushing the neighbor's trash up on my parking.
You're absolutely right, sir, and I apologize for that if that's occurring. And with that being said, you can, like I say, you can call me directly, and basically I will have the division manager himself come out if he needs to speak with you to resolve this issue, because it's very important for us that the sweepers go the appropriate speed, because it's a matter of keeping, like say, neighborhoods clean, it's perception, everything like that, and they should never be in such a rush that basically trying to get through their routes, speedball through the route so they can leave early. It's not about that. We require them to work at least 6 or more hours a day of sweeping so that they can sweep everything that they need to and then some, but at the appropriate speed. And there shouldn't be leaves or debris flying around as they pass by. Okay, sir.
Thank you. And Keith, just to supplement something the gentleman referenced, it is, since Mayor Garcetti took office, it is the policy of the department and the department in conjunction with the Department of Transportation, with Bureau of Street Services at Public Works and the Department of Transportation, that if a street is not swept, the DOT will not, the Department of Transportation will not be out ticketing the cars. Recognizing, sir, that you would like your street swept. But the one thing that they will not be doing is compounding the problem by ticketing cars when the service wasn't provided. If any, we have, excuse me, we have, if there's a ticket that is received on a car, we know through the Bureau of Street Services which routes are swept on any given day. And if any ticket is received against that policy, they should turn that ticket back in so that DOT can, and BSS, and if necessary, our city attorney's office can do a review and comparison to determine whether or not the street sweeper was there that day. And if it was not there that day and they can confirm that, then the ticket will be relieved.
That's correct.
Thank you, sir. All right, thank you.
Give me a ticket on my car and I proved it, and your website's not up to date, I had to pay $84 on the ticket. I went there 4 times, I showed you that ticket. The guy's telling you the truth. They don't update your website, it's bullshit. And they're writing those tickets, and they're making tons of money off of that. It's a lie.
The city, in fact, because of a number of tickets that were issued against the policy, the city in its first year issued approximately $1,600,000 of refunds. It's taken some time to implement that policy. I'll give you a bit of foreshadowing on what we're doing going forward, because the website you've mentioned and the website that Mr. Spindler's complained about has been a bit of a result of kind of trying to implement the policy manually. We've had success significantly, but not 100% yet, as has been provided by your example. However, we have had significant success across the board, but here's what we're going to be able to do, hopefully, in the next year or two to solve the problem with new technology. the Bureau of Street Services is currently working with the Department of Transportation on new software that enables the two agencies to communicate through information that we have placed on every street sweeper. We now have, as of September, October of this year, we just finished equipping every one of our street sweepers with a GPS device. Now that GPS device is feeding a number of different levels of data to the Bureau of Street Services, including when the brushes are down, when the brushes are up, things like that. But what it also will do, it will alert, because it's a GPS device, directly, eventually, when we can get the two systems to talk to each other, DOT, the Department of Transportation, and the Traffic Division on where the street sweepers are. Now, the better benefit of that is, think about this for a minute. Your restricted street says no parking Mondays 10 to 12, for example. Well, the street sweeper has to start somewhere. So at 10:15, it's done something, but we don't know where yet. Well, once it's equipped with the GPS, when we are able to kind of come full circle with this program, then hopefully you'll get notification. You'll be able to get notification through an app or something else with a smartphone that tells you once a sweeper's done, even though the sign says until noon, the sweeper's already gone by, and you can see that electronically, so you'll be able to park there. We're still some time away, but that is something that through the budget process, the Bureau of Street Services and the Department of Transportation and the Mayor's Office and the Board of Public Works are all working on to achieve. So thank you for the point, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mose. Mr. Spindler, when the Bureau of Street Services, the Department of Transportation, and the City Attorney's Office, when they're able to make the determination that the street sweeper was not there at that time, then they're able to provide the information, and they'll hear an appeal. If you lost the appeal, it's because of information that they were not able to confirm, or that was inconsistent with the argument that you made. Mr. Mose, go ahead, sir.
And lastly, to these gentlemen's question as far as about the speed of the street sweeper, it will tell us how fast the sweeper is going, if it's going at the appropriate speed or not, how much debris it actually picked up, and like the commissioner said, where it actually is on a given day. And that will basically tell persons like ourselves, so we can look at the data and analyze it, and basically go back and, yes, you were going through that neighborhood too fast, and so you need to slow down, and so we can work with our sweepers to improve the operation. And like I say, we're like in a beta phase, testing phase right now on all this technology.
Right. But the future, the prognosis is exciting. Right. Thank you, sir. For agenda item number 3, the Bureau of Street Lighting Improvements and Technology, to introduce that, our liaison from the Board of Public Works for the Bureau of Street Lighting, Commissioner Rivas.
Good evening. My name is Luz Rivas. I'm the commissioner. I'm the liaison for the Bureau of Street Lighting. And today we have a representative from our bureau that will talk not only about the street lights. You know, the city of LA has 220,000 street lights, and the bureau is in charge of maintaining them and replacing them. But they're also working on interesting technologies and energy that saves us money and saves energy, and also provides additional service to all of us. So I'd like to introduce Assad Al-Najjar that will present to us about the Bureau of Street Lighting.
And Mr. Al-Najjar, before you start, we do have a couple of speaker cards on agenda item number 3. Ms. Mitchell, you had a card in on number 3? Yes, I did. Okay, come right up.
Again. Okay, once again, as I said before, I represent District 7 of the Harbor Gateway North Neighborhood Council. And in that district in 7, what I've had, what's happening is over on 117th Street in Athens Way, there's a large homeless encampment. And what they're doing, it seems to be that they're taking out the street lights. So if you travel 117th Street after dark, it's scary. I've called in 311. I've been calling everyone downtown, and putting in requests because this is just dangerous. You know, it's frightening. So I don't know how fast this can be done, but I've put in this request. It's been like over a month. So I just want to get some action.
Right.
You know, you say use 311. I'm out here in the community. I'm reporting issues and things, and I'm not getting any type of things taken care of.
Thank you, ma'am. We have the Assistant Director of the Bureau of Street Lighting is sitting right here. And I saw her taking notes, as well as the liaison for the council district in this section, which is Commissioner Davis. So they will address that.
Okay. While I'm here, in regards to 3, because it's such a bad area and we have a lot of dumping, I put in also requests and been trying to see about getting cameras. Is that a part of this here street lighting? For there to be actual cameras to capture some of the illegal activity and the things that are taking place within the district?
That's something that we will need to talk to the city council office about in terms of resources that may be available, if at all, in the area. We have had several special areas where cameras have been used, but working with the leader for the area and the council is critically important to that end.
We have a pilot project right now in Council District 15 regarding cameras on DWP poles for illegal dumping.
Yes, I've heard of that. However, my District 7 has been rated the highest dumping site. I have all the hot spots, 3 underpasses that if I clean it in an hour, it's dirty in the next one. So it's a great need for it. I'm told they have pilot programs, but I think it could be used in that district.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Mr. Spindler on number 3.
See, the reason it's the highest dumping area is because you got that little string beam that goes down that 110 freeway. And all of these neighboring cities know, and all the contractors know from the other cities where they actually enforce anti-dumping laws, just dump it on the LA City side. No harm, no foul, no cameras, no care. But you go to the end and you go down to where I went for a meeting last week in Wilmington by the Port of Los Angeles, you can't find any tagging. You can't find any potholes. You can't find any street because all the money's been down there. They sucked all the money dry out of this district, all the way to the south part of that district, all by the ports. Because they want to build gentrified housing, get $3,000 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. They want to get rid of affordable housing. They want to get everybody the hell out and raise the tax base. You got the money, you let the dumping go on, and then when you let it get bad enough, everybody wants to leave. And here comes your developer friends. Good news, we'll buy your apartment building, and we'll buy out your rent-controlled units, and we'll get you affordable housing. Then once they come in, it's going to be down there like Wilmington and the Port. It's going to look like Beverly Hills. And that's all you're doing. It's a scheme and a scam to simply drive the poor out of those rent-controlled apartments and houses so you can build more of this stupid shit and get more federal and state funds and funnel more of that money into your projects. It's nothing but a scam. You have the money. You have the resources. You're stealing ticket money, like I told you on that thing, just like this gentleman here across the city tells you the same thing. So start doing your job and providing services, or just close down City Hall and pay us all to leave. We'll get the hell out of here. Just pay us.
Mr. Al-Najjar. Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, commissioners, colleagues from Public Works, constituents, and thanks to CD15 for hosting this evening. I'm Asad Al-Najjar with the Community Services Division of the Bureau of Street Lighting. And our bureau handles the design and the maintenance and the upgrade of all the street lights in the city of LA, which is roughly about 220,000 units. And that's in line with our motto, which is bright lights for age. And we're expecting those to be done in the next 5 years. with an average of 5,000 units per year. 2,500 is being converted by our city crew, and 2,500 is being contracted out. The Bureau of Street Lighting at this time had installed about 95 units citywide of the smart poles, which these will strengthen the city communication coverage, give enhancement coverage for the smartphones, and these poles are designed in a way to resist high winds and earthquakes, and this way these antennas will work as an infrastructure for emergency response team. The cabinets that you see cluttering the sidewalk have been embedded within the pole so that you don't see any more clutter on the sidewalks. Also, we're active with the installation of electrical vehicle charging station. For CD15, we had installed at this time 2 units, one at the east side of Compton, north of 102nd Street, and the other one is on Lomita at Western. And more will be coming as we progress. Thus far, we have 30 installations citywide. For CD15, thus far we had converted 94% of all the assets of the streetlights. We have in CD15 4,876 units, in which close to 14,000 had been converted, and the remaining 890 units will be along the line, hopefully by the early 2018, converted. For the past 3.5 years, we had repaired 2,478 outages. A lot of those came from single light outs, which is 1,245 single light outs. Multiple street light outs were about 242, and the rest were small incidents because of vandalism or fuse or warranty issues. We can be reached through the My LA 311 app, or through the 311, and the 311 typically comes directly to me personally. If I'm on the other line, it goes to one of my colleagues. And in regards to the outages, we try to get it repaired within 24 hours if it's a straightforward outage. However, sometimes the outage are related to a full system or the network out, and that requires assistance from DWP. So those usually take probably 3 to 5 working days depending on the load and depending on the circuit that is out. Thank you.
Commissioner Rivas.
Yeah, thank you so much, Assad, for your presentation and for updating us on all the work that BSL is working on. Does anybody have any questions regarding streetlights? Yes?
I'd like to know, are you the department that you call when you want to have tennis shoes removed from the line?
No, I never get that call.
It's Department of Water and Power.
Water and Power.
It's a power line. Right. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
You have the number for DWP?
311?
Yes, or 800 dial DWP. Yeah. Yes.
Tell me what it is that someone would want at the bottom of the street light pole that they would take the cover
Copper.
off?
The copper.
Copper? Is it the copper?
Copper wire.
Typically, it's the copper wires, and sometimes we've seen people trying to tap into the circuit and get energy, but it's really risky because you're getting electrocuted. This is all live wires, but what we've seen is stealing the wire, really, and which I reported in the slide before this one. We get hit a lot of the other failures, the 354. It's due to people opening that cover and stealing the wire from the pole.
Does the cover work anything? Because most of the time the cover is, I mean, they just don't take the wire, then can't you just leave the cover? Is it aluminum or something?
I think they're in a rush to just grab the wires and go, so they don't bother to cover it back, or they just like take the cover as a souvenir, or yeah.
Yeah, good question. Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions for our Bureau of Street Lighting? Okay, well, thank you very much, Hassan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivas. So before we go to our Clean Streets Los Angeles update, we have an additional presentation that is related to Clean Streets, which is our Clean Streets Los Angeles Challenge Certificate of Recognition. And we have our Commissioner Heather Repenning from the Board of Public Works and Commissioner Josh Lafarga from the Bureau of Neighborhood Empowerment and the Commissioner of the Bureau of Neighborhood Commissioners, I should say, Josh. Bonk and Dunn, I get all the acronyms mixed up. But go ahead. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4 that are getting recognition tonight.
I just want to make a quick thanks to the Board of Public Works for coming out here to the community tonight, and also the Department of Public Works for coming out, as well as all the community members that show up, and Wayne. Wayne's here all the time. Thank you, Wayne. But thank you for your involvement. Everybody knows that the foundation of a healthy community is clean streets, clean neighborhoods. That's what we're trying to do with the City of LA. Everybody involved is trying to do the same thing, and just kick it off to Heather right now.
Thank you, Commissioner Lafarga. We appreciate all the work that you guys do in engaging our communities. Clean Streets is a project of sanitation. The mayor and the city council have been very adamant about wanting to see improvement in the cleanliness of our neighborhoods. You're going to hear a presentation on what that's meant in terms of our programs and what we've been adding over the last couple of years to get there. But one of the things that is great about the program is that it is meant to strategically add resources to improve cleanliness in the neighborhoods that need it most. And a key component of that is community engagement. We cannot do that work alone as a city. We need the community involved. We need you guys to help us report problems that you're seeing and be active and help sharing information about 311. One of the things that we did to actually increase community engagement in the Clean Streets program is that we put out a Clean Streets Challenge. I want to thank Fernando Campos, our executive officer, for working with us on this. Also with the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, who's been our partner in this, with the Office of Community Beautification and with sanitation. We put out a challenge to the neighborhoods. We said, we have $25,000. Please give us your best ideas for how to make a difference in your neighborhood. We didn't know what kind of response we would get. We thought maybe we'll have 10 applications, maybe we'll have 15 would be a success. We had 50 applications citywide for this program, and including 4 just from this council district. And the work that was done in the fall on these projects, one of the more inspiring days I've had recently was the day, I think it was a couple weeks ago, when our staff came in and showed me the reports of all the projects that had happened all over town in different neighborhoods with creativity, with commitment, with service. And to see all the work that was done, all the really interesting ideas people had, the photos of huge groups of people coming together in their communities was really very gratifying. So we're here tonight. We wanted to really thank those groups that did that work here in CD15. We had 4 groups, and I will call up the first one, the Harbor Gateway North Neighborhood Council. All of these, are they here? Okay, come on up. So I'm told that your results, that you worked with Council District 15 and 118th Street Elementary School. You produced a very long, comprehensive report detailing all of your signups, photos from all the events, aggressive marketing outreach in English and Spanish, and a robocall campaign to over 1,750 households promoting cleanups and the use of the 311 system. Thank you for your awesome work.
Richard, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
From our Public Affairs Office.
Commissioners.
We gotta get everyone
Newly retired.
Oh, we gotta get a picture?
Everybody, step out.
Oh, okay. Should we go in front of the podium?
Yes.
Okay.
In front of the podium.
Okay. That's his neighborhood.
Mark.
I'm fine.
Yeah, he's short. Yeah, short was up front.
One at a time, if you want.
Get a good camera.
Right.
Great, got it.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Heather. Oh, one more. One more. And then Heather goes to the next one. Yes, one more.
All
right. Thank you, Commissioner Repenning.
Okay, the next group is the Charity Mission CDC. Come on down. I am told that your work produced some incredible videos of cleanups, graffiti removal, a mural painting, and garden planting, which transformed a blighted corner into an attractive community space.
We need all of our photographers back.
Wait for Fernando to finish. Oh, wait.
I'm hiding.
Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet.
Got it.
One more.
Commissioner Repenning, 2 more.
Okay, the third group, SBCC Thrive LA I Heart Watts. I'm told that in addition to 3 cleanups, they held outreach and 311 demonstrations at schools such as Watts Best Start Leadership at Riley High School, Watts Best Start Partnership at Ted Watkins Park, weekly meetings of the Watts Gang Task Force, Neighborhood Council, School PTA, and other community church meetings. Congratulations.
Wow.
One more.
One more. Oh, one more photo.
For our group. Okay. Thank you, Fernando. Right here. Got it. Thank you.
And our last group, Clean San Pedro, with partners Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council, Central San Pedro Neighborhood Council, Coastal San Pedro Neighborhood Council, and the Peninsula Chamber. They held 3 cleanups and held extensive social media promotion of 311 cleanups, including a podcast about Clean Streets LA. Come on down.
Wow. Clean San Pedro. Thank you.
Come on down.
Hi, I was told that I'd be able to speak this afternoon, so I just wanted to say a few things. Sorry, I hope I don't take up too much time, but I'm Shannon Ross from the Coastal San Pedro Neighborhood Council. And the Clean Streets Challenge was something that we took on in San Pedro with all 3 of our neighborhood councils, and we used resources like the Department of Beautification and the gang abatement program. We were able to get everybody out together, young girls like these Girl Scouts, my little son here, several people of our community, young children, teenagers, teenagers and adults, families came together to clean up our streets. We passed out magnets with 311 information to the houses in the neighborhoods that we cleaned up. And we also had the opportunity to clean up in some of the most critical streets in San Pedro using the critical streets map. Clean Streets map, I'm sorry. And one of the areas that touched me the most was cleaning up in front of the housing project in San Pedro. And some of the people were actually coming out of their homes and joining us to clean up their streets. So people stopped and asked if they could help us and when they can sign up when we'd be doing this again. So I think the engagement in the community is really important, and we appreciate you guys allowing us to take this challenge.
Thank you. Great, thank you, everyone. Commissioner LaFarga, thank you. Commissioner Repenning, thank you. And let me just take a brief moment to thank all of our community volunteers from the groups that are recognized tonight. The work that you do is so important to our city, important to your neighborhood and your communities, and you could just see how it's infectious and really just a great part of what we do, and civic pride, and just being proud of our wonderful city and our neighbors and the relationships that are built. So it really is just one of the best things that we're able to do in our job, is to work with all of you and in quality of life issues such as this. And it's great to see people from all ages, all different walks of life, all parts of our community coming together for the common good. So thank you all for your participation, and we look forward to growing a really long-term relationship with all of you to improve quality of life in the city of Los Angeles. And Commissioner Davis.
I'd like to compliment Councilman Joe Buscaino, and certainly I know that the mayor is pleased to partner with their office, because in looking at the recognition we just gave, you see a reflection of the various different cultures and communities that represent Los Angeles. And even though they specifically are from the 15 Council District, those individuals who were honored just a few minutes ago are the kind of people that help make Los Angeles great. It's because of your willingness to come together to help volunteer that matters. So we appreciate you, and we will continue to collaborate with you to help make things better. So thank you so much for being you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. So we will go to agenda item number 4, the Clean Streets Los Angeles update. We have a couple of speaker cards before we turn it over to Commissioner Repenning. Ms. Mitchell, you have a speaker card in on number 4. You should have sat closer to the podium. You've been involved in just about everything that we've had. Thank you, ma'am. Go right ahead.
All right. Again, in this last one on the agenda item under the Bureau of Sanitation, as the group before stated, the Bureau of Sanitation has been very supportive to me in the district in my cleanups. Actually, I've hosted 11, and on Saturday, I will be doing the 12th one. So I have flyers in the back, and when we do a cleanup, we really do a cleanup. But one of the things about it is I haven't gotten any Beacon House or any of those organizations to come out and support as of yet, but we've had some successful cleanups. Now, back to item agenda number 4. My thing is that I've requested the automated litter bins, and I was told there was 5,000. There was 2,500 dispersed. I went to City Hall for Neighborhood of Congress. I spoke to the mayor, and I told him I need bins in District 7. He says that'll happen. I spoke to another gentleman, there, he says, listen, you need to contact your council office. Did that. To date, I still have not one automated litter bin in District 7. Not one. Really, on the corners, there are no trash cans. No bins at all. So what happens to the trash? It's on the street. I'm out every week. You can find me on a street in District 7 cleaning up constantly. So if I had some trash cans, I think the people would use them. So I need litter bins, please. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am. And Mr. Garcia right behind you will help you get litter bins. He just handed you his card. And Jose, we'll find the best locations for those in District 7. We have one more speaker card on number 4 before we go to Mr. Garcia. Mr. Spindler on number 4.
You know, since we're giving out awards or make a puppet show. So, go ahead.
Thank you. In recognition of doing absolutely nothing and taking in all the money, I hereby give this award to our mayor, Mayor Garcetti.
Yes, and he'll be able to pick up this lovely certificate for doing absolutely nothing. So thank you.
Thank you.
So, look at your electric and water bill. Why do people dump trash in the streets? Well, you get $76 every 2 months tacked onto your electric and water bill, no matter how little or how much electricity you use in your house. And if you want an extra green can, you want an extra black can, they charge you extra for another $38 more. So everybody's got to go one black can, one blue can, one green can. And you know what we do with that blue can, right? We stuff that sucker with all of that stuff that should go in the green can and cover it up with a little bit of trash on the top and fill it out. Right? That's what we do. We gotta steal from Peter to get to Paul to take out the trash. I live in the North Valley. I got a 1/3 acre property. I get one green trash can. All right? And I gotta spend the next 3-4 weeks taking the pile to fill it up to stuff it in that little can. And I tried one time to borrow a can, and your sanitation worker took it and dumped it and blocked my driveway. And he told me, don't effing do that again. You effing do that again. We ain't gonna effing pick up your trash again. Give your people at the sanitation department a hand, because that's customer service. If I want another can, I gotta spend another $38 a month. So you know what the rich white people do? They go ahead and they order 3 green cans. They're paying another $38 each. Meanwhile, you got little tiny houses that don't even use their green cans, and they don't really even need a whole can. They pay the same thing, $76 every other month. That's $38 a month that you rob people at gunpoint. I spoke to the mayor of Glendale. He says we have the highest sanitation fees in the nation. And he says that all this crap that's going on is that you are providing, well, you didn't even start the clock. See, it says 2 minutes. So.
Thank you, Mr. Spindler.
Oh, you didn't start the clock.
The time ran, Mr. Spindler.
Yeah. So anyway, the mayor can pick up his lovely award certificate. Thank you for robbing us. We appreciate it.
Mr. Garcia on agenda item number 4.
Good evening, everyone. So I never really get to the end of my presentation. I always kind of rush it, so I kind of changed it up a little bit, if you don't mind. So in CD15, by the way, my name is Jose Garcia, Program Manager for the Clean Streets LA program. This program was implemented and given to LA Sanitation to basically clean up the streets. 4 components of it. Put out service teams to go out there and do heavy lifting, grade every street, 1, 2, 3, as far as its cleanliness, and then apply resources accordingly. Put out 5,000 automated litter bins, and inventory all trash cans citywide. So with that, in CD15, in the quarter July through September, there was about 10,500 service requests called in for some kind of service, and they were handled, collected, closed out. But that's the entire CD15. I think personally, being in the business for 30 years, that there could be 10,000 just in this immediate area alone if the community were to take ownership and just report everything. So you see that it's kind of a breakdown of everything that's there. With the Clean Streets LA, for this particular quarter, we removed 282 heavy tons of debris from streets, alleys, homeless encampments, heavy debris, illegal dumping throughout the entire CD15. And this was a partnership that we've had with our environmental experts dealing with the homeless encampments and the amount of trash that they accumulate. LAPD, and working with conjunction with them for security services, OCB and all the contractors that help us with the litter and weed abatement, and most of all the vision and dedication and support from the Board of Public Works and the Mayor's office. So in CD15 for this particular quarter, so you may not have seen us, but we were in your district at least in July, 18 out of the average 20 days, and so on, 16 and 11 days. Again, you may not have seen us out in the streets or doing things, and then pictures say a lot of words, but just a series of pictures of what we do. We go out there and we try to make every street and alley livable for the residents that live in the immediate area. Those of you that have seen it, hopefully have prospered from it. The problem is that we cannot wait for it to get this bad. We really, in the Bureau of Sanitation, encourage you to call no matter what, because a couch is like a weed. It'll grow a table, and it'll grow some tires, and next thing you know, there's some roof shingles next to it. So it's not whether you own it or whether you're responsible for it or whether it matters or not. If you put it on our docket, we will be there. If not, they'll hand it off to the Clean Streets crew that can bring in the mechanized and all the labor that needs to for every alley in the South LA area, especially in this area. Again, 30 years in the business, and we've done some time motion studies where I put a couch out there and over a period of 2 months, not touched it, and it's slowly like a mushroom growing out of control. Again, these are just some pictures, some wild pictures, because I never get to the end of my slides. Uh-oh, did I get too far? What did I do? I have to start all over, sorry. So, with the Bureau, I didn't have the last slides in there. Really? No contact information. All right. We really encourage you to use the 311 app. I'm sorry it cut off. It was supposed to have all the information, all the contact information.
You can summarize it for us.
311 app is the greatest way to do it. First eyes on the scene. We're here every Friday. Our drivers are there. They will make a determination whether they're going to pick it up or hand it off to us, and then we will go out there and clean it all up. There's always an 800 number on every trash can, so you cannot miss us. And if anything, stop a trash truck driver and ask him what to do. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Penning.
Thank you, Jose. I just would thank you for your work. I always appreciate the pictures. I think that's a great way to help folks understand what it is we're trying to do. For those of you that participated in the Clean Streets Challenge, we want you to know that we're not just asking you to get involved in something. It's something that we are internally really committed to. We've put a lot of new resources behind these past couple of years. And so the work that you guys are doing out there is really meant to complement our own effort internally in the city. I would also say that we are going to do another challenge next year. So we hope that you'll all want to be part of it again. And on January 14th, it's a Saturday morning, we're inviting all of the Clean Streets winners from around the city to come down and show off your work and hear about what some of the other folks worked on. So put that on your calendars. And I just want to say that I think that next year will be even cleaner than this year, is my prediction.
And
any questions? Yes, sir.
One of the things that frustrate me the most as District Rep Harbor Gateway 8 is I have one underpass, not like Janet that has 3, that's a dumping site. And there's a school nearby, like one of the other gentlemen talked about that kids pass by every day on their way to school. So every day I'm out there cleaning. So this particular week, last week, there was some debris under there. And I came and I cleaned it up, used some of the city's trash bags, put it off to the side, called it in. This is probably Monday. They said, well, we won't be able to come out till Friday to pick it up. Tuesday, it's scattered all back under the underpass all over here. So I come back out Tuesday, pick it up. Guess what happened Wednesday?
It was back
So
again.
now I gotta like do something
Do
with
it on
the
Thursday
debris
night.
to keep it from being back out Thursday. So my question is there a way that you can expedite the process of when we call something in to come get it? 24 hours?
there you go. What we have crews citywide. My Clean Streets LA is citywide. So if we have someone in CD9 and you make a phone call, there is nothing to go by and pick up 10, 15 bags. So we're here to assist you in your efforts and what you try to do and complement. And if you need a service like that, just feel free. And Commissioner Repenning has been a huge advocate. Commissioner James, President James, Commissioner Davis, Jacinto, huge advocate in getting this whole thing started. And it's taken, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but we've seen it. Our drivers have seen it. And our residents that we speak to have seen it, a difference.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Questions? Caltrans.
Mm-hmm. I will, you're in Council District 15. I will work with Council District 15 staff, and we've often put together what I call an abatement team, groups of representatives from multiple jurisdictions who have responsibility for service delivery on different tasks, and we will put one together. In terms of your area, it sounds like an area that could benefit from all of us coming together in formal meetings to talk about our role, our responsibilities, and set some timelines and dates certain when we'll go in and do what we need to do to clean and better manage the area. It occurs often in different areas of the city, and it's a part of the tools we use to work together to resolve these kind of complex problems. And I've committed to talk to Council Member Joe Buscaino tomorrow morning to get that going.
We are, and I would also really want to thank Councilmember Busca. You know, he's chair of the Public Works Committee, and he's been a huge advocate for clean streets since the beginning, and has really pushed us in his district to get out there and bring the heavy trucks and do the alleys and get it all done. So he's a great council member on in terms of making sure that you guys get the services that you deserve in CD15.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Commissioner Repenning. Agenda item number 5, sidewalk repair program update from the Bureau of Engineering. Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Good evening, everybody. It's an absolute honor to be here in this great CD15 in this community of Watts, and I'm inspired by looking at all the artwork, all the murals, and all the extraordinary lives that have been lived and that are part of American history. And when I look at that gentleman's T-shirt and Watts got hearts, we all heart Watts, and Watts is a great part of our city, and you should all be proud. So let's give you a round of applause for being out here in December. Had the honor and pleasure of being in Watts for a number of months, working with our stakeholders from the Watts Tower Art Center. I see Ed Landler back there. Ed, thank you for your championship and leadership, and to all of you for being here. I have the honor of working, being the liaison with our Bureau of Engineering, which in the Department of Public Works is involved with the planning, design, and construction of public youth facilities, including bridges and buildings and great big things. The mayor says, build more good stuff. And that's what our Bureau of Engineering does. Honored to work with our city engineer, Gary Lee Moore. And I wanted to turn it over to Gary because he has some important news to share with all of you regarding the Bureau.
I'm pleased to introduce on her first day on the job our newest deputy city engineer who's going to be overseeing the 30-year, $1.4 billion sidewalk program, Julie Souter. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you, Julie. And we do have we have 2 speaker cards on number 5 before we go to Julie and to questions. William Taylor on agenda item number 5. Mr. Taylor. Sidewalk repair plan.
Sidewalk repair.
Yes, sir.
I want to welcome you to my community. I've lived here 64 years. I'm a Vietnam vet. I've worked in the oil industry. I've worked in logistics. And most recently, I retired from Lockheed Martin in the defense contracting version of my life as a mid-level manager. I love my community. And I'm not coming up here to blast any of you because I've been in those seats myself. What I am coming to tell you is we have an issue between 97th and Century Boulevard on Holmes from Wilmington to Graham on Century, and from Beach on Century to 103rd. There are some issues of planting trees. And when they plant these trees, I can't for the life of me understand why they plant trees that would interrupt the sidewalk and raise it. Now, recently they came through with a beautification program, and I told them I wanted a crepe Murray in front of my house. I know that's not gonna raise the sidewalk. But my mom's house, my dad used to live there, they're both passed away. They had this tree that the city planted, and I did my due diligence. City planted them. There's another one closer to 97th on Holmes. But all those areas I gave you, they've planted trees that raise the sidewalks. They came through and they patched it with asphalt. Asphalt's not gonna last after the rainy season. You know, asphalt and cement, they just don't mix. Even the curbs, they put asphalt in. I saw them come out, and within 30 seconds, they were gone because they put this asphalt in. I want somebody to actually come out and fix those sidewalks. I invite people to my home. I love Watts. I've done my due diligence to fix my home, but my community surrounding and sidewalks are a death trap. Kids go by there going to 102nd and Markham, and elderly people use that walkway to go to the plaza on 103rd. Please fix those sidewalks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Spindler on number 5.
What the sidewalk thieving and scam repair program is about to be implemented. Now, they've had a lot of meetings about this, and what they're not telling you is that every commercial property that is not residential will be issued by 2 years from now mandatory fix your sidewalk notices. If you don't fix it, they're going to fix it for you, but it's not going to be free. Oh no. Now they want to tack on a 40% penalty plus use overpaid contractors that give campaign donations to them on an approved list and give you a 5-year warranty on the work. So that means every business, every single multi-commercial development, everybody has to insure their own sidewalks. That these guys will not do it. Why? Because the city got sued, Google the Willits settlement. Our sidewalks are so bad, they got sued by the American with Disabilities Act. They were going to be forced by the federal court to fix the sidewalks at taxpayer expense. But what your city attorney did after Carmen Tutanich lost to this moron Mike Fuhrer, what they did was they prorated a settlement of 30 years to do this work that should be done in 7 years. And that means they only have to spend $30 million a year. Well, they don't have the $30 million. So they're going to make us pay for all of it. We're going to pay again to fix the sidewalks that our grandfathers and our grandmothers and our mothers and fathers already paid the taxes. And even what the gentleman said, for your defective planted trees, they're going to get the money from us. This is the worst scam in American history.
Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. To give a presentation and a report on our Safe Sidewalks LA, I want to welcome our staff person, Stephen Chen, to make the presentation. I see Carl there, so thank you for your work. Stephen.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. I'm Steve Chen, Bureau of Engineering, and before I start, I just have to make a quick story here that I was running with my dog last week, and I actually sprained my ankle while running on the sidewalk. So, it's very near and dear to me that I want to see these improvements just as everyone else does. So with that, here we go. So our goal here is really to fix all the sidewalks and to make them accessible for the residents of the city. As you can see here, we have an example in Harborview Memorial Park. Again, it's a $1.4 billion program over the next 30 years. And this is really the heart of the information here is the sidewalks.lacity.org. This is, if you just go to this website, which was just launched less than 2 weeks ago, it gives you all the information about the different aspects of the program. But I'll just touch upon the main 3 areas. That would be the Access Request Program, and that program is basically a the purpose of the Access Request Program is to address requests made by those with mobility disabilities, and that also encounter physical barriers to access, and the goal is to repair those barriers. Then we also have the rebate program, which is a limited time program for property owners who are willing to pay voluntarily to fix their sidewalks. If they so decide to do so, the city will provide an incentive to share the cost with them to repair their sidewalks. And then, of course, we have the reported sidewalk, which is just all the other requests that you can report, sidewalks that need to be repaired. And how do you make a request? There's 3 different ways that you can submit a request. One is through My LA 311, and that's the website up there. You can also download the mobile app, and that gives you a step-by-step instructions of how to file a request. You can also call your request in or make the request in person. If you call 311, or you can call the council district office. And for the Access Request Program, you can contact the Department of Disability. As well as in person, you can make the same request, and the information is on the slide there. So what have we accomplished to date? We've repaired about just over 30 miles of sidewalk, and that's, if you can see the little graphic there, that's equivalent to a sidewalk that extends from San Pedro up to the North Valley and kind of down a little ways. So that's a lot of sidewalk. We've done 62 parks, sidewalks adjacent to 62 parks, 25 fire stations, and 22 rec centers. As you can see, it's been 143 city facilities in total. Within CD15, we've completed sites, repaired sites at 17 sites in CD15, as well as 61 curb ramps. And I just want to show here another graphic is what we're doing with all the information. We're capturing this on a geographic information system. And what this does is you can see here a little bit on this is a graphic of a block with the sidewalks on each border. And we have the different elements that basically we're tracking all the information that when we repair a sidewalk or a curb ramp, that goes into a geographical information system, and we can then document and make reports on our accomplishments and progress. So next steps, we're just going to do, basically we're continuing more sidewalk repairs, more access requests, and curb ramp repairs. We're also going to further our GIS data acquisition and have that ready for view to the public. We're also going to be undertaking an environmental impact report soon, a study. And I'd just like to show some photos of what we've done over the past year or so. Here's an example in San Pedro, the municipal building. As you can see, we had the before and after pretty badly lifted sidewalk on the left side, and it was repaired right there. Similarly, we have one in the Wilmington Municipal Building. Again, we have a badly damaged sidewalk and driveway approach, and that was repaired. Here's another example, Newton LAPD. As you can see on the left side, uplifted sidewalk, and the after is much better accessible path. Here's a classic example of a broken sidewalk and how it was improved, Vermont Square Library. And this example here is Fire Station 46. It shows an example of when we have a tree that's basically causing some damage to the sidewalk. What we do is we expand the size of the tree well, and that helps preserve the tree and also allows us to fix the sidewalk. So with that, I'll take any questions if there's any.
Okay, Steve, before we go to the
Yeah.
questions, just wanted to thank also in partnership with our Bureau of Engineering, that's the program manager for the 30-year program, the Bureau of Street Services and Bureau of Contracted Administration for working together. It's really a department-wide. So let's go ahead with questions, please. Mr. Taylor, you had a question, sir.
You know, I was okay with some of this presentation. I'm not upset at you, trust me. I'm upset at the process, because I didn't hear any residential streets getting fixed. What I heard was police stations, Newton. I've been trained to listen. I listen very well. I've called, and I called Diana's office, and to the mayor's city desk. I've done all that I could do within my power as a citizen, as a stakeholder, to get those things rectified, especially the sidewalk. I was told what you just said. The homeowner pays for part of it, the city pays for the other part. I didn't get that. I didn't plant that tree. And I pay my taxes, and I am a homeowner. So I know part of that should go for repairs of infrastructure, meaning the sidewalks and the streets. What I did get was a patch job. And one of them is about 2 feet high down near a sober living on Homes at 97. They came through with asphalt and they put it in. Yet I see in your presentation where they take out these disrupted sidewalks and cracked sidewalks and actually put concrete in. Now, did the fire station pay anything to get it done? And again, I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at the process. The process is not working in the residential areas, and I could afford to live somewhere else, but why should I when that's my community? I was born at General Hospital, and I live here. I get a little upset when I see presentations and they go through really fast like I'm not paying attention. I am paying attention. No residential areas got fixed, and the fix they did give us was asphalt. Thank you for
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Taylor, for that. We're also going to give an update on what has happened since we've been live with our sidewalk program. But any other questions first, and we can.
Before we go to, I'm sorry, Commissioner Cinto, if I might, before we go to the next question on the sidewalk repair program, to address Mr. Taylor's point, at least partially, the dictates the requirements of the settlement of the Willits lawsuit. Establishes priorities pursuant which are now in essence by law because they will have been signed off by a federal judge. And the priorities set based on ADA requirements, the order in which we have to repair sidewalks and around city facilities are one of the top priorities. One, because they're heavily trafficked by people, pedestrians, and two, to save the taxpayers money from having to pay out liability-based claims on injuries that occur to broken sidewalks at city facilities. But even with that, every single year of the 30-year program, 20% of the money is set aside for the city's worst sidewalks, including in residential areas. And those determinations are made by our Department on Disability, which is City Department, in conjunction with our Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator related to the program. And so if our city engineer wants to add anything, Gary, my understanding is that even with the priorities based on city facilities, metro facilities, senior facilities, transit areas that are in the early stages of the priorities, the 20% can include and will include, in fact, residential communities where the sidewalks are not accessible.
And the city council and the mayor recognize the pent-up need. As you know, sidewalks, there hasn't been a sidewalk program in the city of Los Angeles. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say fortunately, it's now funded. It's a 30-year. But everybody recognizes the pent-up need. They've actually asked us for a report back, and we'll be doing it in the next 6 months, is can the program be accelerated? We're just starting it now, but they're already asking how we can accelerate, because just like you said, Mr. Taylor, there's substantial needs throughout. And I live in Koreatown, and so I'm with you about the challenges of the sidewalks. I experience it also. So we're with you, and we're going to be working through it. We'll also, one of the things that we'll be able to communicate, and that will be up very shortly in the next couple of months, is showing you where work is done across the city, because it's 469 square miles. You know, it stretches from north to south, east to west. We have almost 11,000 miles of sidewalks that we're doing a detailed mapping on. And so we're with you, and we are excited to be the team, as Commissioner said, with the other city bureaus here to deliver this. So it's not lip service, that we really are after it.
And trust me, I understand. Not to be argumentative, throw in 1 or 2 residential in that presentation. Doesn't have to be my street, but it could be somebody's street. Because my mom, before she passed away 3 years ago, was handicapped. Her gate didn't open, so when Fire Station 65 had to come take her to the hospital, you know, they had to pry the gate open to get it over that sidewalk. It doesn't have to be my street. It can be anybody's street. But you kind of throw people off when you show all these public buildings. And I understand what the mandate is. But just do 1 or 2 public access areas or streets in front of some residential. And then people can't say you're just targeting one area.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And Julie, afterward, Julie, if you and Mr. Taylor is on those streets, and we'll also share some of the photos that we have done recently to help out, as the commissioner said, with the ADA. So we have some of those. We'll actually share them with you. We have some great stories of where we've done that.
And also, I want to say, Mr. Taylor, I'm going to give you my card so that you and I can work together and also be in contact with your council person as well. Service delivery is a core value, not only in the Board of Public Works, but also in directive of leadership by the mayor. He has a back to basics principle that includes having service delivery in every area of the city equally. And even though it's a philosophy and it's a statement on paper, it is us who work for the city that have to move to make it reality. And so I'm going to give you my card, and we'll work together with your councilman.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you. We had a question over here, sir.
It's one thing to say to repair a sidewalk is cracked, but in some cases, the tree have damaged the sidewalk, have damaged the street. So if you call in 311 to say a sidewalk repair, you come out, you look at it, it's like, oh, this is not gonna take a bucket of cement to fix. I have a stakeholder that asked me if I can see what I can do about his mom's house. And I went and took a picture. I don't know.
Yeah.
With my cracked
Julie.
screen.
We can,
Julie,
yeah, we can.
got it, yeah, right. Or Julie.
The head of the program is right there.
The lady with the navy blue jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a step down. It's about.
Please go ahead, Gary. You want to explain? Yeah.
But, you know, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt.
So, like, you know, you say you call, say you can fix the sidewalk, but when it's a sidewalk like this, then this been going on for like maybe the last 5 years. So how do you get something like this in the future to be, to get done, get repaired?
Great question. Steve, you
Yeah.
want me to take a shot at it
Either
here? It leads into, it's an interesting, as the council was developing the policy, they held numerous community meetings. There was 10 council members that went out into the community, and there was 2 concerns that came up. 1, fix our sidewalks, and 2, limit the number of trees that have to be removed in the process. So we have a priority. They're working with the Bureau of Street Services and their arborists. When there's a sidewalk such that the tree there's no way to keep that tree, unfortunately, we will have to remove that tree because the number 1 priority is accessibility. So we have to make the sidewalks accessible. But short of removing the tree, what we do is we look at removing the area if it's not in a residential area where there's a parkway and you know that it's soil. If it's out in the commercial areas, we'll enlarge the area so that the roots can actually go down and not, as you say, break up the sidewalk. The other thing we'll do is we actually can trim the roots when possible, so we don't want to have any safety issues with trees falling. And lastly, the city will do tree trimming in the balance also to make sure that as much as possible we want to save the trees. But if it's just such in a bad condition or it's reached its useful life and the tree cannot be saved, then it will be removed to make sure that the sidewalk is returned and passable. And then the city, this board has for a 2-for-1 replacement. So if a tree does have to come out, the city will be planting 2 trees to replace that 1 tree. So it's, as you heard from Keith earlier, there's over 700,000 trees in the public right-of-way that we're responsible for. So we're very sensitive on the balancing, but number 1 is we need to provide accessible sidewalks.
Thank you, Gary. Any other questions? Spindler.
So what happens if the first tree, or what happens on the second and third tree? Who's going to pay for that?
In the city's sidewalk repair program, the city's taken on the responsibility of planting both trees.
Good. Thank you, Gary. Any other questions? What we'd like you to do is, again, to visit www.sidewalks.lacity.org to learn about the programs. And again, Stephen, thank you for the report.
And certainly we'll take if there's any other requests, we'll like to get the addresses and we'll take a note of it and put it in our database and we can try to address it as soon as we can.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Cinto. Agenda item number 6, our minimum wage standards update from the Bureau of Contract Administration. Commissioner Davis, before we go to our speaker card number 6.
The Bureau of Contract Administration does contract compliance, but also oversees policy issues that come from the city equally. And one of the most important issues today is the implementation of the minimum wage policy that the mayor helped lead our city in. And since that time, the legislature has followed Los Angeles in helping to increase minimum wage for those who are working. This is a critically important policy, and it is my privilege to introduce to you Salvador Rosales, who's going to talk about the minimum wage here in Los Angeles and where we are in the implementation of making that happen. It's been phased in different levels, and he's going to discuss that.
And before Mr. Rosales starts, we have a speaker card on number 6. Mr. Spinner on number 6.
So they're going to keep raising the minimum wage. What does that do to your businesses and your small businesses? It's going to run them out. You can't sustain it. That's the problem with all of this stuff. You guys, you think you sit in front of your computer, you live in an imaginary world. You got to get out in the real world. Drive around this district. Vacancy for rent, for lease. Vacancy for lease. Vacancy for lease. So, when we need jobs, and in 22 years, we are the only major metropolitan statistic area in the United States that does not have a net private growth of jobs. You do the one thing that's going to continue to perpetuate it and raise the minimum wage. Every time you raise the wage, every employer has to pay more FICA taxes. They have to pay more Social Security taxes. So what it winds up doing is every time you raise it another dollar, there's 15.3% additional money that goes out of the employer's pocket. That means that everybody has to pay more for everything. Why don't you have Obama, you own him, you got him here till January 20th, give the businesses back a full tax credit on the increases, including the FICA. See, it's because you guys don't lobby for small businesses. And the only people paying the taxes in the city are the small businesses and Barbara Streisand and all her rich friends. The only ones paying the taxes. Everybody else, they don't have any money. They got no taxes. They're getting a net refund. So if you don't have a taxpayer base, we got a bankrupt city. We're going to wind up like Flint, Michigan. We're going to wind up like Detroit. This is the way down, not up.
Salvador.
Good evening. Thank you to the Board of Public Works and Council District 15. Tonight I'm going to share a little bit about the minimum wage and who is entitled to the minimum wage. So our definition of an employee is any individual who in any particular week performs at least 2 hours of work within the geographic boundaries of the city of LA. And this is regardless of whether they are part-time, full-time, seasonal, or temporary employees. And this is also regardless of their immigration status. So if these requirements are met, then this employee is entitled to the new Los Angeles minimum wage. And this is the actual rate schedule, and it's increasing incrementally for the next 5 years. And on the left side of the page, you see employers with 26 or more employees. These employees would be receiving $10.50 starting July 1st of this year, and it's increasing incrementally. And on the right side, you see businesses with a 1-year deferral with 25 or fewer employees, as well as nonprofit corporations with 26 or more employees. These would be under a 1-year deferral and would start paying $10.50 next year, July 1st of 2017, and it keeps increasing every year. Along with the minimum wage increase, there's also a paid sick leave, which is 48 hours inside the city of LA. Again, there's a 1-year deferral for employers with 25 or fewer employees. And employers can provide these hours through 2 methods. The first is the front-loading method, in which an employer provides 48 hours up front on an annual basis or any 12-month period. The second method is the accrual method, in which an employee earns 1 hour of paid sick leave for every 30 hours worked. And these are the types of violations that the Office of Wage Standards enforces. The first one is minimum wage underpayment. So if there's the qualifying rate is not being paid to an employee, then it is a violation, as well as through either method, the front loading or the accrual method, the hours aren't being provided to an employee. This is also a violation. The other two are the posting violations. So employees must see a poster of our notice. And if it's not available to the employees, then it is a violation, as well as a retaliation, which if there is any adverse action taken against an employee for reporting a suspected violation, then we also enforce these violations. And there's several ways in which an employee or an employer can contact our office for information or to report a violation. And this app's been mentioned throughout the night. It's very useful, MyLA 311, and also our website. I'll show you guys on the next slide what our homepage looks like. You can contact us through email, through phone, or in person. You may visit us. And I'll also show this information in a following slide. So this is our website. It's a brand new website, and this is our homepage. It has buttons, and they take you to different sections of our website where you can check your address, and you can input your address and see if your location falls inside the city of Los Angeles to see if you're entitled to the city's minimum wage. And there's also a link to our complaint form, which if there's an employee that believes there is a violation at their workplace, can contact us through our complaint form. And lastly, this is our contact information. We are very responsive, and with this said, I would like to take my final moments to thank and congratulate everybody that was recognized this evening for your work, and excuse me, and also wish everyone happy holidays.
Thank you very much, Salvador. And are there any questions for Salvador on the minimum wage policy? Mr. Spindler.
So, do the employers get a warning, or do they have to start paying all of your fines and your fees to help raise money for your budget here in the city?
We actually work with employers to make sure they're in compliance, and we do take into consideration that this is a new ordinance, but our main goal at our office is to make sure that employers are in compliance with the ordinance.
We have a lot of law firms that are going to go around businesses hunting for lawsuits to sue innocent businesses for just not having the warnings posted, and that's lawsuit abuse. And I want to know if you're going to take a position against that, because it's going to be devastating for businesses.
It is not the intent of the mayor or the city officials, nor do I believe it's the intent of the state, because as I said earlier, the state has passed this as well. It is not the intent to harm anyone. The goal of this policy is to increase the quality of life. You have different philosophies on the economy. However, when people make more money, people can spend more money. People can buy, rent in the apartments that you say are vacant. People can support the small businesses that need more revenue, but they can support the big businesses too. So this is clearly a time which has come for us to increase the quality of life in a big city like Los Angeles. People need to make a living wage. They need to be able to take care of themselves. And when they do, it is not a harm. It does not negatively affect small businesses, nor does it negatively affect big businesses. In fact, it does the opposite. So this is a clear improvement on the quality of life for the less of those who are not making what they deserve to make. And so no way would we support a theory that tells people in America that they can't make a decent living. They make a decent living, and then when we don't look at it narrowly, we benefit as well. So that's the intent. Thank you, Salvador.
Commissioner
Appreciate you.
Davis.
Yes, Commissioner.
John Reamer, Bureau of Contract Administration. Since the onset of the ordinance, we've made it a point to partner with businesses. We recognize that both groups need each other. Employees need employers, and employers need employees. And as the commissioner said, it has not been our intent to catch any business by surprise. We've had a fairly robust outreach effort, both through our contract services, where we've been partnering with the community, reaching out to employers, reaching out to chambers of commerce to share this information, to spread the message, to both educate and equip not just the employees but the employers on how to protect oneself against a frivolous claim. You could have a competitive employer who files a fraudulent claim against someone. So ours is not to go in and to assume guilt at all, but ours is to make sure that we educate and uphold the spirit of the intent, both by the mayor and the council, to ensure that those who work in the city of Los Angeles receive a fair wage.
Thank you, Mr. Reamer. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. We certainly appreciate it tonight. To all of the volunteers, thank you for your continuing work. To the Bureau of Street Services and Engineering, to our Public Affairs Office, Tanya, for being here, and Veronica, and all the other city employees that have spent time answering people's questions. We really appreciate the collaborative effort and the participation. Mr. Campos, other than general public comment, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay. Mr. Spindler, anything on general public comment?
So tonight was a good illustration. Broken City. They talk about policy. You're going to get these attorneys that are going to be coming in starting in July, and they're going to be going into all these mom and pop shops, because these warnings are specific to the city of Los Angeles. They are not the state mandated notices. Nobody's going to know about it. And all these attorneys are going to walk in, send a threatening letter. They're going to give me $5,000, or I'm going to sue you under this statute. As frivolous lawsuit goes on. Now, the Democrats in Sacramento just gained 2/3 majority in both houses. They control the Senate. They control the legislature by 2/3. What this is going to mean is you're telling businesses two things. This is a one-party state. It's anti-business. The second, as you keep your business here, you're going to pay more and more. And we're going to force more and more businesses to leave the state, because it makes economic and social sense to sell your property at the high values they are now and move your businesses out where labor is cheap and regulations are fair. So I love your paradise. You're living in a dream world, Davis, because see, you don't make a payroll. In your background, you've been having all these fancy government jobs. I've done a payroll. My uncle, my grandfather run a Fortune 500 company. So I know what a payroll is, and I know what these shark attorneys are going to do. They're just going to go into all these little donut places, and you're not going to have the warnings. They're going to take a photograph. They're going to start sending letters out, and they're going to cash in. And that's why when this happens, and the sidewalk repair program happens, and everybody gets the bill, mom and pop stores are going to get the bill for the sidewalk. They're going to get the fines. Everybody's going to get the hell out of here. And that's why I'm saying, you don't know what's coming. It's an avalanche. We just need one more bubble in a real estate bubble, and we're done. You got to brace for this shit. And I know it's coming. Now, I'm going to be here, and you know where I'm going to be? I'm going to be at the auctions. I'm going to be buying more properties like I did in 2008 and 2000 and 1990, and that's a sad thing.
2 minutes.
And you guys are the fools,
Thank
and
you,
we
Mr.
all know
Spindler.
it.
Thank you, everyone, for your participation tonight. We cleared the desk, Mr. Campos?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then we are adjourned, everyone. Thank you for being here.